Welcome to behind the scenes of the Aligned Businesswoman podcast. Vanessa here. I'm going to take you through my solo recording of busy versus productive entrepreneurs. So you're going to get the live edited or unedited raw version of what goes on behind the recording when I do recordings on my own. So let's get to it. All right, get all situated. Here we go. Welcome to another episode of the Aligned Businesswoman podcast. Vanessa here. Today, we're going to be talking about being busy versus being productive. Now, as women entrepreneurs that wear multiple hats, we can trick ourselves into believing that we are busy making progress in our business when in actuality, we're just on a hamster wheel of busy work. And those are things that we trick our minds into believing because we don't know any difference, but really because underneath it all, we are suffering from or low self-worth. We are dealing with low self-worth issues or anything that has to do with not believing in ourselves. So we get into patterns of self-sabotage or procrastination or perfectionism or imposter syndrome. So we get stuck in our heads and we trick ourselves into believing that we are making momentum, but in actuality, what we're doing is we're just doing the motions without intention, without focus, without strategy. And that it wreaks havoc on our nervous system. It creates a lot of stress on our brain and it puts us into this fight or flight mode. So we are thinking we're doing the thing and we're like, I don't feel stressed. I'm just excited for my business and I'm doing all the things, but our body doesn't know the difference. And so when we're in this fight or flight mode, then we are unable to access a lot of the resources that are available to us. So we're not able to see what's available to us or the resources that we have within. So wisdom, intuition, logic. And we end up making business a lot more complicated than it needs to be. We overcomplicate a strategy, or again, we're doing all these like tasks, these busy work things that don't directly lead to us making more sales or growing our business. So let's go over some of the things that we think is productive, but really it's just busy work. So let me know if you ever have experienced any of these things. So I would love to know if you're watching on YouTube or you're watching the behind the scenes in the Aligned Businesswoman Facebook group, or if you're listening on the podcast. Connect with me on Instagram at Vanessa Ann Miller, or you can connect with me inside my Facebook group, The Aligned Businesswoman, and tell me if you relate to any of these things. Tell me if you're getting any aha moments for some of these things. So the first thing is that, the hardworking entrepreneur that is always busy but never makes money, what they're focused on is, they have a lot of priorities. Everything is important to them. There's no, clear definition of what is urgent, what's important, or what is something that can be delegated or maybe even deferred to a later time when their energy matches their availability to complete that task. And so when they have too many priorities, it spreads their focus too thin. There's too many things going on. And again, that is going to put stress on the brain. So you're unable to access logic and reasoning. Instead, you actually confuse yourself more and overwhelm yourself more. As an entrepreneur, having clarity is going to be one of the greatest assets that you can have to start with. Knowing exactly not only just like who you're serving and clarity around your offers, but clarity on your day-to-day tasks that are going to be aligned with reaching your goals. Now, a mindful or productive entrepreneur is going to manage their time strategically, and they're going to make a great return on their investment when it comes to time, money, energy, and focus. And so they only have a few priorities. They look at their business in a holistic way. and they not only get a big picture view, but they also look at the details. And so they get to manage, or they get to see what is going to really help me reach my next level. And those are the things I'm going to prioritize. Now, they also understand that their plan and, their strategy has to be reviewed every so often so that they can make tweaks as necessary. So if I were stuck in this, I have so many priorities, in this hardworking entrepreneur that's not making any money and is spread so thin, what I would do is I would revisit, like, why am I doing this? For what purpose am I doing my business? And are the actions I'm taking, the things I'm committing myself to, does that align with where I want to go? So for instance, if I am saying yes to all these things, and the reason why I started my business was to have more time and financial freedom, then these things that I'm saying yes to better align with that goal. Because if they're taking away my time and my focus, my energy and my money away from the end goal, then how am I going to be able to support that? How am I able to really reach that if, like, my focus is doing these things that are something that I can probably delegate, or something that is not even necessary for my overall goal? And when you are a busy entrepreneur that is not making any money, you tend to really confuse uh, your obligations. And so you might think that something's a priority when it's really not, because again, you have to go back to, like, for what purpose did you start your business? But you also tend to get shiny object syndrome. You can want to get answers outside of yourselves. So you're constantly looking for the next best thing, or you're looking for the magic pill to help you get the results. Instead of using the resources you currently have and slowing down, you're like, nope, got to do this, got to do that. I got to, say yes to this. Oh, maybe that will work. Maybe this will work. And that just keeps you in a perpetual cycle of busy work and accumulating all these resources that you never put into action. So be mindful of the things that you're saying yes to, and allowing a lot of space within your calendar so that you're not confusing what really needs to be done in your business with something that is just distracting you from meeting your goal. Now, a productive and mindful coach or entrepreneur or business or a consultant or service provider or whatever it is that you are, you're going to know when to say no. You're going to have boundaries. You're going to know that this is going to be my yes bucket, and these are my no buckets, and this is my maybe. And everything that goes into the yes bucket is going to get your focus and your attention. So when something doesn't align with that, with your priorities, it's going to be an absolute no. And you get to be comfortable with saying no. And you can say it gracefully. You can say, that just doesn't align with where I want to go. I appreciate the offer, but this is where I'm headed in this direction. It doesn't have to be like a no, where you don't have to feel bad about it, because what you're really doing is that you're saving yourself and that other person or the opportunity a lot of stress, and you're making it easier for them to go on their own path when you honor what is truly a yes and what is truly a no for you. Next thing is that when you are feeling like you're busy and you're not making the money, you might find that you're jumping into work mode right away. And this is why I have my balanced work week. We inside the Profitable CEO Accelerator, we talk about how to have your balanced work week, where you have the CEO day, where you're planning, you're putting your strategic hat on, you're looking at the numbers, you're analyzing what has happened, you're using information as feedback. And then your goddess day, where you're allowing your nervous system to relax so that you can really tap into the creativity and have clarity on what it is that you need to do for your business. And then you have your doer days, where you're actually doing the work. So when you just jump into the doer day and you don't have a strategy or any intention behind any of the things that you're doing, you're going to find that you're doing a lot of things, but getting nowhere. Now, when you are a productive and mindful entrepreneur, then you're going to think twice about anything that you're going to be doing, anything that you commit to. You're going to have your list of priorities. Remember that bucket of things that you say yes to. And you're going to be thinking about, how is this going to serve me not only today, but how is this going to serve me tomorrow? How is this going to help me collapse time? How is this helping serve my future self? I want to make sure that my future self says, thank you for doing this. So when you are thinking with a more productive mindset and a profitable mindset, then you're going to be thinking about those things, and you're going to be ditching everything that is not necessary or that does not align with the path that you want to go on. One of the things that we do inside the Profitable CEO Accelerator is that we have a monthly CEO power planning. We look at our monthly goal, and then we break it down. We look, okay, if this is our monthly goal, what do we need to sell to be able to reach that goal? And if I'm going to, sell XYZ products, what can I do to market them so that I can sell them? So that we look at the different marketing platforms, we look at the different sales channels, and we say, okay, well, if I'm going to be showing up on these marketing platforms, on these sales channels, what am I going to say when I'm there so that it aligns with that offer? So basically, all the CTA is going to be, okay, download the workbook that's going to put you in the sales funnel that's going to sell you this offer, or you directly pitch that offer. If you want help in XYZ, then this is the offer that can help you. So when we do that in the CEO power planning in the accelerator, we map all of those things out. And so at the end of the workshop together, it's a 2-hour workshop that we have once per month, we have these things outlined. This is the monthly goal. These are the offers I'm going to sell within the goal. This is the places I'm going to show up, and this is how I'm going to talk about it. And then these are the action steps that I need to take so that way I'm fulfilling the content I need to put out for those different platforms, right? So maybe it's like I need to have 4 emails per month. Okay, let me block this off in my due date, and I'm going to write these emails, and I'm going to schedule these emails, or I'm going to create the content, or whatever that is, right? And then you take that action, and then you look and you put into your calendar, this is the milestone within 30 days that I know I'm going to reach this, and this is going to help me reach that $20,000 per month, $100,000 per month, whatever it is, right? A busy entrepreneur that gets nowhere tends to multitask a lot. So they are the person that has all these tabs up. They have, their phone ringing, they're looking at their phone, they're doing all these things thinking that they're being productive, but your mind cannot multitask. It's like slamming on the brakes when you change gears and you change focus, and then doing something else, and then coming back to that project or that task that you were doing, and then starting the engine again, getting going. You don't want to multitask because you're not really saving any time or being efficient, proficient, or productive at all. A productive entrepreneur is going to take one task at a time. They're going to zone in, they're going to focus, and they're going to complete that task and then move on to the next. And this is why planning is so important, so that you have your day and your week planned, that once I'm done with this, then I get to do this. And being strategic about it, like during your CEO day, is that you get to look at it in a way where you're like, well, if I do this, then this knocks down this, which helps me do this, right? You look at it as if it's a domino effect. And so that helps you take things one at a time and still make huge progress without feeling like you have to be all over the place. Now, a busy entrepreneur that's on that hamster wheels can get lost in the details. They're so worried about all these like little things, and they can be a perfectionist where they want everything just to be just right. And they're not really seeing the bigger picture. So they're not seeing further along to be like, okay, if I do this, then this is going to happen. They're just focused in the moment. Now, I do believe being in the present is important, especially whenever you're trying to ground yourself. But if you are taking action and you are having your doer day as part of this balanced work week, getting too stuck in the details can and in staying there can really keep you from predicting what to do next or seeing the potential obstacles. And so there needs to be a balance between both looking at the big picture and then being able to go into the details. And that, remember, I said get lost in the details. We want to look at the details, but we don't want to get lost in them. So a productive entrepreneur is going to be able to focus on the big picture. They're going to be able to go from details to big picture. So they're going to be able to say, okay, this is the plan for these next 30 days. Let me see how this is going to look in the next 90 days. If I do A, B, and C, what is this going to mean for me in the next 90 days? What's it going to mean for me in the next, year, 3 years, 5 years? So they are able to see from both perspectives. This is where a roadmap really does help. And that's why I love to have those CEO power planning workshops every single month inside the CEO Accelerator, because my members are able to like see big picture and then like, okay, let me do the work. And then let me use the metrics. Let me look to see the growth that's happened and use it as feedback of, should I double down here or is this not working? A busy entrepreneur is going to take on everything. Again, they're going to be the ones that say yes to things that aren't aligned to where they want to go. So you might find that they're people pleasers. They don't know what they want. They have low self-worth. They're putting other people first, and they're really draining themselves. They might end up being very, very exhausted. You can probably see it in their face. You could hear it in their voice. And they even say, well, I'm so busy. And they almost like take pride in being so busy instead of really seeing the results. They're like, oh, I'm so busy. And that they're just not getting what, they want from their business. Now, as a productive entrepreneur, you're going to delegate. You're going to prioritize. Again, this is going to be the whole theme of this podcast episode, is that you're going to be prioritizing. You're not going to be spreading yourself so thin and doing things that just aren't going to give you the results that you want. You're going to allow yourself to simplify your business. So you're actually going to do less, but accomplish so much more, because you're going to harness the power of your focus, and you're going to be very intentional with the way you spend your time, energy, money, and your focus. Which leads me to the way a busy entrepreneur runs their day. Like, they have no schedule. In fact, everything is like jam-packed. Sometimes they forget about what they have on their calendar. And it's just like they're going from one thing to the next without allowing themselves to rest, really, and to really reflect. Reflection is so key as a successful entrepreneur, because you get to see what's going on. And instead of using it as, just prohibiting you from, going all in, or, instead of like seeing it as a negative, you see it as feedback. You're like, oh man, that didn't work out, but what did I learn from this? How can I make this better next time? So as a productive entrepreneur, you're going to allocate time for this reflection and for this planning. And you're going to be very methodical when it comes to the tasks that you're going to do, that you're going to map out each and every day, week, and month to reach your goal. You're going to use a lot of resources like time blocking or the balanced work week. You're going to lean into maybe mentorship. You're going to allow yourself to receive help. So you're not going to be that type of person that wants to do everything on your own. You're going to receive help, and you're going to ask for help. You're going to know that that's going to be the most empowering thing that you can do for not only for your business, but for yourself, like for your mental health. The busy entrepreneur is going to be that person, again, like I was saying, that they multitask. They're going to be always distracted. They're going to, maybe always be on their phone, but never getting anything done. They're going to be doing a lot of scrolling, again, because they haven't prioritized their time. They haven't really thought about, like, for what purpose are they doing these things? They haven't aligned their values in their business to how they want their life, or their business, really, their business to support their lifestyle. So they're not really thinking about those together. They're thinking that they're separate. And yes, that they I do want you to disconnect from your business so you can live your personal life, but they fuel each other. They go side by side. So the way you run your life is going to be a lot like how you run your business and vice versa. When you are a busy entrepreneur, you are going to always be in creation mode. You're going to be creating the courses, doing all the content. You're going to forget to sell because you're too busy doing all these things. But as a productive entrepreneur who eliminates distractions and doesn't multitask, who does one task at a time, has a prioritization of their energy, time, money, and focus, they're going to sell first, and they're going to make sure that they are getting the cash, because they know cash influxes and making those sales in their business is what's going to help them keep their doors open. It's going to help them find the time to be able to create the content to bring more people in. And they're going to know that when they have cash in, that means that they can actually scale more easily because they have the cash in their business to reinvest in maybe a VA or a program. They're really thinking big picture here, instead of like, oh, I just want to create this content so I can grow my visibility. I'm going to grow my audience. They are thinking, okay, well, once I do this, where are my people going? What's the next step? And lastly, when you are a busy entrepreneur doing all the things, you tend to self-sabotage. All these things are about you sabotaging yourself. And a lot of times it's unconscious. You don't realize that you're sabotaging yourself. You think that you're doing the thing, and you're focused on the short term versus the long term. And that's because it comes from fear. Maybe there's fear of success, fear of failure, lack of self-worth, lack of self-trust. Those are a lot of things that are deep rooted within our belief systems that we don't realize. Our subconscious mind is running 95% of the show. So we can be doing these things on autopilot and never realize it until some kind of traumatic event happens, or until we have to shut down our business. And so being mindful and having clarity around how we're using our time, money, energy, and focus, and identifying any kind of leaks, and then asking ourselves, well, what do we want instead? If we're having these energy leaks, if we're having these time leaks or money leaks, what can we do to fix these? Because this is not helping us reach our goal. What do I want instead? And then focus on those things and create a plan around that. All right, that is all I have for you today. And if you are wanting help and you need more clarity in your business to accomplish your goals, you're like tired of missing them every time, you're tired of getting distracted, you're like, I know I have it in me to make my business successful. I just want the accountability. I want that support system to help me map these things out. Give me, help me fine tune my strategy. I have a great strategy, but for some reason, I can't execute every single month. Then join me inside the Profitable CEO Accelerator. That is where you're going to get your hands on support. You're going to get weekly calls like the monthly calls like the CEO power planning. We have hot seat coaching. We have mindset makeover, because as an entrepreneur, you have to manage your mindset so that you can really focus on the things that you want and really stay in the essence, that vibe of success and growth. So check it out. I'll make sure to include the link in the show notes. So that's it. Thank you. I'll catch you next time on the next episode of The Aligned Businesswoman. Bye-bye for now.